By what I understand, Judaism, unlike, let's say, take for instance, like Christianity or Islam, which tend to be a little bit more evangelical, they try to proselytize people and convert people. By what I understand, Judaism isn't quite like that. Normally, they don't try to convert people. Is this something you're sort of born into, or how, or is there a process of like philosophical ascent or something like that?
No, Judaism is an interesting, we fall into kind of a weird category because Judaism is something you can be born into. And you can be born as a Jew, and traditionally that would say you are born of a Jewish mother.
Mm-hmm.
You never have to do any practice any day in your life, but you are still considered Jewish all
Hmm.
throughout your life.
Hmm.
It's not like most of the churches where you have to make a statement of faith in order to be able to join the church.
Mm-hmm.
We exist both to some extent as a people, but also as a religion. And part of that is our minority status, and because we're so small, and part of it is just the way Judaism has been inherited
Mm-hmm.
is gives it this kind of little bit of tension between those two
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
ideals. So yes, you can be born into Judaism, and there are people who do convert to Judaism, but the process of the conversion to Judaism is um, a rather long and complicated process for a number of different reasons. The One of the things that people often misunderstand is that up until around the year 300 CE, and do you understand if I use CE as opposed to AD?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, uh, just the reason I don't is because AD is a faith statement.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's not part of my faith.
Yeah.
So I tend to use the academic terminology, BCE and CE.
Yep.
So around in 300 CE, up until that time, Judaism actually, to some extent, sought out converts or welcomed them in a little bit um, more freely. One of the things that happened was the Council of Nicaea, the church held in 323,
Yeah.
I believe it
Mm-hmm.
was. Um, one of the things that was passed there was it prohibited intermarriage between Jews and non-Jews, and it also said that conversion to Judaism was illegal,
Mm.
right? And the punishment for being caught converting was death. So it didn't stop the process of conversion, but it, in a sense, pushed it underground. So as opposed to saying we're evangelical, we're reaching out, we're trying to get people in, Judaism has always been a little bit more of the, are you sure that this is right for you? We want to know, we want to make sure that you're doing the right thing. Before the idea, I guess what I would put it is, we want to make sure you have most of the knowledge you need before you convert, and then we'll talk about conversion, as
Mm.
opposed to convert first, get the information later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The other part of it is also a little bit of, I guess, Jewish wonderment, is the concept of, to be a Jew has never been easy. You can go through almost any period of history and find times where the Jews have been persecuted by
Mm-hmm.
one group or another.
Yep.
And so the question that people sometimes ask people who are interested in conversion is, like, you want to become one of us, right? You want somebody to dislike you just because of your religious background,
Mm-hmm.
without knowing you. You want to, join this little minority group that is despised by so many
Mm-hmm.
voluntarily. I don't have a choice. I was born into. I do have a choice, but we were born into it.
Yeah.
But the idea that you would voluntarily choose this
Mm-hmm.
is, something that not looked at it as askance, but it is, shall we say, part of the questioning that goes into the the process of dealing with people who are interested in converting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you for listening to that interview clip. If you enjoyed it and you want to listen to full interviews and learn more about religion, not just from academia, but from people who actually believe in these religions, subscribe to this podcast. And as always, friends, go out there and light the world yourselves.